Hey guys, it's Justin the Bourbon Betters. Today we're going to recap last week's college games. We'll talk about this week's college games and the debut of the NFL this week.
Earphones a little bit. Hey freak, pay me a masterpiece.
All right, if we go by the numbers in last week's college games, if you talk about the games that I told you about and kind of broke down a little bit, I was 6 wins and 2 losses. And then I got off to a hot start last week and just kind of tried to keep it rolling. Just bet a little too many games because I had 30 games that I told you about, and I went 15 and 15. But as far as the games go that I broke down, I was pretty close on a bunch of them. UNC, Minnesota. I said that UNC was going to win 28-14. They won 19-7. We go to TCU and Stanford. I said that TCU was going to win 35-24. They won 34-27. Georgia, Clemson. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. I had Georgia winning 38-21. They won 34-3. Miami, Florida. Florida did not play very well. I had them winning the game 31-30. And they lost 17-41. Does it mean that Miami's back? I don't know. Miami definitely, Cam Ward definitely played a real good game. But how good is Florida? That's the question. This was, I think, a 4-win team last year. I mean, they lost to Arkansas, and we were horrible last year. So let's see going forward. Let's keep an eye on both of the teams and see if it was just a bad showing by Florida or if Miami's just really that good. Next game, we got West Virginia and Penn State. I said that Penn State was going to win a close one, 31-28, and they won 34-12. West Virginia couldn't run the ball with Garrett Green, and I mean, I thought that was going to be a key to West Virginia staying close and maybe even winning that game. But like I said, I thought he was going to be able to run the ball. He wasn't. The next game we talked about was Notre Dame and A&M. I said that Notre Dame was going to win 31-28. They won 23-13. Next game we're going to talk about is LSU and USC. I thought it would be a lot more high-scoring game. I see a lot of high-powered offense in that game. Looks like both teams may have got their defenses fixed. I said LSU was going to win 42-35, and USC actually won the game 20-7. It was a great game if you got a chance to stay up and watch it. And then the last game I told you about, which of course was UAPB at Arkansas. I said that Arkansas was going to win 56-0. They won 70-0, so it was off by 2 touchdowns. But I mean, I've never seen a game where you went 10 for 10 on offensive possession. So besides a video game, but it's a good sign. Bobby Petrino's got the offense rolling. He has them all on the same page, and we'll see what happens this next week. Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing, hit the like button down at the bottom. Also, subscribe to the channel if you'd like. Leave a comment and hit that notification button. Hit that bell for notifications.
Suggestions in the comment. Let us know what you want to see us drink. Let us know what you want to see us review. Let us know what game you really want to hear about. We're here to let you know. We're here to win you money, and we're here to win money too.
All right, when it comes to week 2, there's a couple key matchups. I think I've got about 10 games here I'm going to break down for you. So you got Texas, Michigan. It's 11 a.m. on Fox. Texas is a 7.5-point favorite. The over-under is 42.5. Michigan struggled against Fresno State. Texas took care of business. Ewers threw for 260 with 3 touchdowns. I've got Texas winning the game 28-20. South Carolina versus Kentucky is the only SEC conference game this week. It's 2:30 on ABC. Kentucky's a 10-point favorite, and the over-under is 42.5. South Carolina's O-line was pushed around by Old Dominion. I think that Kentucky has better athletes than Old Dominion, and I think Kentucky will control the line of scrimmage. Now, the offensive play calling was very mundane for South Carolina, and they did rely on Rocket Sanders, but he had like 26 carries for like 80 yards. So, I mean, he wasn't very efficient, and you're going to have to do better than that against Kentucky. Both South Carolina's touchdowns were also scored off of fumble recoveries inside the 10-yard line, so they were very lucky to come away with that game. I got Kentucky winning this game 38-17. Next one's Iowa versus Iowa State. Big rivalry game up in Iowa. It's 2:30 on CBS. Iowa is a 2.5-point favorite, and the over-under is 35. Both defenses performed well last week, but both of them played FCS opponents. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I've got Iowa 20, Iowa State 17. Next, I'm going to talk about Baylor and Utah. It's on Fox at 2:30. Utah is a 14.5-point favorite, and so 54.5 is the over/under. Both played well against FCS opponents last week. It's kind of like going to be the story throughout this video because everybody seemed like they played an FCS opponent last week. Cam Rice was probably the most efficient quarterback of the week. He was 10 for 15 for 254 yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm going to give this to Utah at Rice Eccles. They're going to win 38-20. Next, got one that I'd like to watch. It's going to be Kansas and Illinois. You got the high-powered offense out of Kansas versus Illinois, whose offense is hit or miss sometimes, but they've got a really good defense. It's on FS1, like I said, at 6 p.m. Kansas is a 5.5-point favorite. Over-under is 55.5. Jalen Daniels threw 15 balls last week. That's it, and he didn't have any rushes. You know, he only played 3 games last year. Illinois did seem to find a two-headed monster at running back that they will continue to feed and try to control that ball. I've got Kansas winning a close one, 31-28. Next game is NC State and Tennessee. This one's in Charlotte. Tennessee is a 7.5-point favorite. The over-under is 60.5. NC State struggled against Western Carolina, and Tennessee rolled against Chattanooga. I think it's just going to continue, and Tennessee will win 34-21. The next game that I'm interested in is going to be the Colorado-Nebraska game. It's at 6:30 on NBC. Colorado is the underdog. Nebraska is the favorite, 7.5 points. Over-under is 58.5. The problem I have with this line is that Colorado won this game last year, and both teams have improved. So you're saying that Nebraska improved more than enough to take over the deficit and then still win by a touchdown. I don't see it, especially with Shedeur Sanders. Even if Nebraska's up late, Shedeur Sanders are going to keep them in the game. We'll cut it down. Both teams had a win last week. Nebraska 40-7 against UTEP. Colorado 31-26 against North Dakota State, which is a powerhouse in the FCS. So I think Colorado's going to win this game 31-28. And the last game we're going to talk about, of course, is Arkansas Razorbacks against Oklahoma State. Cowboys in Stillwater. It's 11 a.m. on ABC. We're going to find out what Arkansas has in this game. Ollie Gordon is one of the best running backs, if not the best running backs in college football. He's going to be a Heisman front runner if he continues to play like he did last year. Oklahoma State's a 7.5-point favorite. Over-under is 60.5. Arkansas dominated against UAPB. We talked about it earlier. Oklahoma State dominated against San Diego State, who is the defending FCS champion. I think that Arkansas will have the power to score points. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't know if we're going to hit that over, though, but it's going to be close. It's going to come down to how many stops can Arkansas make. Their defense really wasn't tested last week. They ran a pretty basic defense. I don't remember any exotic coverages or blitzes or anything like that. It was just a pretty much either just a base man, base zone. We're going to rush 4, and we're just going to out-athlete you, and that's what they did. You're not going to be able to do that against Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State has a pretty balanced attack because Ollie Gordon is so good. They run the ball to open up the pass, and our secondary hasn't been tested. Our back 7 hasn't been tested, and that was a weak spot last year. So I've got Arkansas losing this game, close one. Oklahoma State 31, Arkansas 28, and that pains me to say it. But I will say, if when you go pick the games, I'm taking Arkansas plus 7.5. I'm going to take North Carolina minus 22. I'm going to take Maryland minus 8. Alabama minus 31. Colorado plus 7.5. Tennessee minus 7.5. And Mississippi State plus 6.5. And that should get you a pretty good ticket started for the games this weekend. I'll do like last week. Each day of the games, I'll find a couple extra bets to throw out there. And I'll try not to go overboard this week. But I don't know. If I like it, I might. So that's with college. That's that's all the games we have for college. It's going to be a great week. There's some really good matchups out there. But tonight is the debut of NFL. College doesn't start till tomorrow, but the NFL starts tonight, and it starts with a couple big games, and I'm going to talk about them later. But I'm going to go over. I'm not going to break them down like I did college. I'm just going to tell you it's the first week. Yeah, there's really preseason can't really tell you that much, so it's really just gut feeling here on who I think is going to win, who I think is going to lose. We'll start with Friday's game. Friday's game is Philadelphia. I've got them -2 in Brazil against over Green Bay. Then I've got Minnesota -1.5 over the Giants. Miami -3.5 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. New Orleans -4 over Carolina. Pittsburgh, I'm going to take +3 against Atlanta. Cincinnati, I'm going to take -8 over New England. Buffalo -6.5 over Arizona. Houston -3 over Indy. Tennessee, I'm going to take +4 against the Bears. Vegas, I'm going to take +3 against the Chargers. Seattle, I'm going to take -6 over Denver. The Bucks -3.5 over the Washington football team. The Cowboys, I'm going to take +2.5 over against Cleveland. Detroit -3.5 over the Rams. Monday night's game is San Francisco. I'm going to take -4.5 over the Jets. And then tonight's game, I'm going to take Baltimore +2.5 against the Chiefs. But I've got some picks for tonight to set up a parlay for you. I think that Rice for Kansas City is going to have over 61.5 receiving yards. I think that Jackson is going to have over, Lamar Jackson is going to have over 49.5 rushing yards. I'm going to take the money line on the Chiefs. This will be a close game, I feel. And I'm going to take Mahomes over 258.5 yards passing. That's what I got for the NFL. Hopefully, it starts off just as good as college did. You guys have a great day, and I want to thank you for watching.